Ghost Bear's legacy is notable for having a few good ideas, but ultimately being rushed and broken. Pirate's Moon is notable for being just so freaking hard, god damn it. MechWarrior 4 Black Knight isn't notable at all, it's just a bunch of stuff that happens. So...
No mission too desperate, no job too dirty. Keep your hands clean and call in the Legionnaires.
After MechWarrior 4 came out, FASA went kablooey. There's no connection there, I'm just saying. The rights to the Battletech portion of the franchise went to WizKids, who used it to create the MechWarrior Dark Age tabletop game, more on that later, while FASA Interactive, the game developer, stayed operating as part of Microsoft Game Studios. In 2001, FASA had their own projects to work on, so the bulk of Black Knight was handled by Cyberlore Studios. These guys are basically expansion pack experts, but you probably know them best for Majesty, the very unique fantasy strategy game from 2000. In Black Knight, you're a member of the Black Knight Legion mercenary unit who get contracted by the Steiners to retake Kentauri's 4 after the events of MechWarrior 4. Right off the bat, that's pretty cool because you're fighting against the protagonists of the previous game, like Half-Life Opposing Force or the B-side campaign of Pirate's Moon. Only a few missions into the campaign, you're betrayed by the Steiners for literally no reason. Apparently, Ian Dressari wasn't as loyal to Davion as the previous game suggested and switched sides to the Steiners. Instead of telling the Black Knight Legion their services are no longer required and sending them home, the Steiners decided to declare war on a huge mercenary outfit. Smart. The rest of the game becomes a revenge mission as you track down Ian Dressari and the Steiner general who betrayed you. The only problem is, Black Knight is just a bunch of missions. They're good missions like in Mech 4 Vengeance, big levels with multi-part objectives, sensible tactical fluff material, and occasionally the choice of which mission to tackle first in an area. The levels are still too big though, with way too many enemies, so the game is just this side of tedious. This side being the bad side. The game makes me want to burn things. If all you want is more of Mech 4, Black Knight is a perfectly cromulent expansion pack. For me though, I don't like the base gameplay of Mech 4 enough to really want a bunch of missions, unless they can be framed in a more interesting freeform way. Once you've been spoiled by the freeform nature of MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries, it's hard to go back to a basic set of linear missions. Black Knight adds a black market feature, which gives you more variety in equipment and introduces a bit of a persistent economy. It's very basic, however, and you still have no money. Instead, everything has to be one-for-one bartering, so you only get new equipment by offloading old stuff. The missions involve a lot of combat with way too many enemies, so your allies lose mechs constantly, and you don't have any old mechs to sell. Not having a money system in the game isn't a big deal, but it's the difference between getting cash for Christmas and getting a sweater you have to take back for store credit. The market is also only available on probably 50% or less of the missions, which makes it less of a feature and more of a misleading blurb on the back of the box. The new mechs and equipment are decent. It's good to have the Stormcrow back, and I have a lot of fun with the cluster bomb launcher, but energy weapon heat levels are astronomical, so the titular Black Knight chassis isn't very useful. And who even cares about X-pulse lasers? I played through Black Knight once and haven't thought about it even a bit in the last 15 years. It's an enjoyable game. I like the characters and their hilariously diverse accents, and it's fun to wipe the floor with Ian Dressari and his bobble-headed buddy. Of course, Battletech's reckless disregard for MechWarrior canon strikes again, and the sourcebook Fedcom Civil War brings him back from the dead like Calculon. There you have it. Black Knight adds some more missions, some more mechs, and nope, that's it. Just more missions and mech shit. And a market. It's mostly mediocre. Next time, we get to cover MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries and the death and rebirth of the Battletech franchise.
You did it, Eric.
Did you ever doubt me?
He did have an assault mech, you know.
I noticed. Moving to extraction point. See you in a few. Striker 1 out.
But what about the box? I don't have one, is what's about the box. I've never beheld the game in physical form, and in fact the copy I have is from the old MechWarrior 4 compilation that came with all 3 Mech 4 games. The artwork on Black Knight and the compilation pack is basically the same, showing a battered Black Knight doing a Terminator pose on an Atlas skull. I don't have the box for the compilation release anymore, since I got it in those halcyon days of my youth when life was carefree and the toys were better than the boxes they came in. I don't miss it for a second. The compilation was a pretty bare-bones release, 4 CDs and sleeves and a small manual, and it didn't even include the Clan and Intersphere mech packs, the stingy bastards. You can also get Black Knight in the Mech Collection, which is a terrible collection of games. It has Mech 4, Black Knight, and Mech Commander 2, which are like my 3 least favorite mech games. In 2001, FASA had their own projects to work on, Mech Assault and Crimson Skies for the Xbox. That's parentheses, that's for my notes, not for your notes. In 2001, FASA had their own projects... what the heck was that tone of voice? In 2000... Oh, Jesus.